Hello everybody, thank you for stopping by and checking out today's video. It's going to be on a game that is near and dear to my heart and is no doubt near and dear to many of yours. It's going to be on Super Mario 64, and this is going to specifically be on the version that was re-released as part of the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection on the Nintendo Switch. I know that this video is a little bit late. It was supposed to be released on Friday. It is now Monday, so let's just jump right on into this, shall we? Super Mario 64 is an icon of an era at this point and really needs little explanation. But for those of you who may not know, it's Mario's debut in 3D platforming. And it did so with an interesting world-hopping main hub mechanic in the aspect of Peach's Castle. The entire premise of this game is that Princess Toadstool, aka Peach, has sent a letter to Mario telling him she's baked him a cake. Sounds delicious. And that he should come to her castle so that way they can, share the cake. Pretty simple. Upon arrival, however, there is no cake. Almost as if this cake has been some kind of falsehood. A lie, if you will. But we learn very quickly that the castle has been taken over by Bowser and its power source stolen away. That it's up to Mario to set things right. Like I'd mentioned, we use Peach's Castle as the main hub for our adventure and subsequently unlock more of the castle as we progress through the stages by collecting power stars and defeating Bowser to get keys to either the basement or the upper floor to unlock all of the levels. This includes some of the secret levels and the 15 castle secret stars. So be on the lookout for those both in the castle hub itself and in some of the special levels. What I still find interesting about this game, no matter how many times I play it, is that you access a level by jumping into a painting or sometimes just a blank wall. So keep your eyes peeled for anything suspicious. Now you may be wondering, how does this game actually play out? Well, we can walk, run, jump, crawl, and do all kinds of weird, crazy acrobatic maneuvers to get around every single level. And that's useful, but only by mastering some of these more advanced techniques like the wall jump, the long jump, somersault, and a few other tricks will you really be able to collect every star in the game, if that's your goal at least. It was definitely mine. When you first enter the castle, you can only enter level 1, Bomb-On Battlefield, and go after the stars in that level. Now there are 6 riddle-like title stars that you can go after, plus its 7th, the 100 coin star. Now what do I mean by these riddle-like titles? Well, there are 6 stars in every single level that have a title, and it's kind of a hint that tells you how to go about collecting. And then the 7th star, which you can get at any point in time if you collect 100 coins. But for some levels, that sounds a lot easier than it actually is. But as far as the basics go, that's really it. Considering this game was released for the Nintendo 64, this was all still pretty groundbreaking, and it's no surprise that speedrunners still race through this game today. With all that said, there are still a few more mechanics introduced later on though. This is with the different hats that Mario can wear. And no, I don't mean his Mario Maker hat. That wasn't until way later that was brought in. I mean his wing cap, the metal cap, and the vanish cap. These different power-ups are essential for collecting certain stars in multiple stages. Not to mention, each have their own bonus stage, where you have to press a large switch to even activate the boxes that allow you to use these caps in the normal levels. So yes, it certainly takes a bit of work to get these power-ups, but they are absolutely worth the effort if you're going for the full 120 star run of this game. Now if you compare Super Mario 64 to our modern, cinematic, near to real life gameplay that many people have gotten used to, Mario 64 ain't much to look at. But we have to remember that this is a product of its time. And for the N64, it looks pretty good. Sure, there are some instances where if Mario lands exactly on a ledge from a fall, there will be a bit of a glitchy moment that makes the screen kind of twitchy, but it isn't something that I hold against the game considering it runs at a maximum of 30 FPS and was built in a display for aspect ratio 4:3. That said, for this 3D All-Stars release, there have been a few cosmetic improvements. The sprites for everything on screen have been upgraded, such as the star icon, coin icon, and life icon, even the bottom right hand corner for our Lakitu or Mario face for the current camera, Some images like the Boo paintings in Boo's Haunted Mansion don't look so grainy anymore, and even the text for dialogue has been given it an upgrade as well, although the text itself has remained the same, typos and all. I remember this game being very difficult for me when I was a kid. Lava Lava Land and Shifting Sand Land were the bane of my life count. And when I would eventually get to Tick-Tock Clock, I guess I just blocked out those memories. What I do remember is that while I did beat the game in my younger years, I never got all the stars. It was just too much for little me to handle. But this time, I got to work as soon as the digital download confirmed it was allowed to be played, and did not stop for nearly 22 hours, which is a little bit under the average time to beat for a completionist run. I found every red coin, I caught that silly rabbit 2 times, I talked to every toad and looked for every hidden star. I mean, I got turned around in that hazy maze for longer than I probably should have. And don't even get me started on how big of a pain the 100 coin star on Rainbow Ride was. But you know what? I got them all. And it was a blast. I had so much fun playing through this game that even when I was frustrated with playing the same course for 30 minutes or an hour, I was still having a lot of fun. This game not only holds up to my childhood memories, I dare say it even surpasses them. Now, before I start gushing too much, let's move on to the pros and cons, shall we? Pro number 1 is this is a great introduction to 3D platforming, because while there are a lot of difficult stars, you only need 70 of the 120 to actually beat the game, and there are at least that many that are easier to get with a basic skill set without wanting to rip your hair out. So if you wanted to get into the origins of Mario's 3D adventures, this is a good time to do it. Pro number 2 is that it feels like a Mario sandbox of sorts. There are plenty of different kinds of environments for you to explore as our favorite plumber. And with each of these different areas comes a different set of enemy types, and also different kinds of traps for you to overcome. If you find that one area is starting to drag you down a bit, but you haven't quite finished getting all the stars there, that's fine. You always have the option to go to another one of the paintings and work on a different stage for a bit, so that way you can kind of cleanse your palette in a way before returning to clear out the rest of that first stage and find any of the stars that you had missed. Pro number 3, this is a Mario game, I have to mention it. It's the music. I absolutely adore almost every track from this game, and if it's not a song I love, I at least like it. And something I found really cool about the 3D All-Stars collection was there is a music mode of sorts that you can just play the music from each of the 3 games, which I thought was a nice touch. Personally, the music of Dire Dire Docks is a favorite. If you've played the game, do you have a favorite song from this one? Now, our 4th and final pro is pacing. In the beginning, the Power Stars are insanely easy to collect. You feel like you are this powerful, amazing hero who will stop at nothing to save the day. Then you beat Bowser the first time. The stars start to take a little bit longer to collect. But that's alright, you're still going strong. You've got this. You fight Bowser again. He's stronger, and you win again. And now there's even fewer levels for you to finish, but the stars take even longer to collect. This uphill battle kind of collection method made it feel like you were really fighting someone pushing against you, like this was someone worth fighting. And it really set a mood in the back of your mind that this was some serious business, and it was something I really appreciated about the game. And now it's time to talk cons. Number 1 of 2 is, out of all the things that they could have fixed, why did they not bother to fix the camera? In the original game, you use the C buttons to move it. That's fine. But now you use the right stick to move it, which somehow makes this even worse, since it doesn't always register an input if you press the stick at a slight angle. Oof, this was brutal, but after a bit of practice, you were able to get it down to a point where it was fine. But my goodness, it was bad in the first release of the game, and after it just oof. And for our final con, we have collision detection. This is technically an older game, so I try to be a little bit lenient, but when grabbing a cliff is a big part of your gameplay, Mario should know when to grab said cliff. I did die a small number of times because he simply didn't grab onto the ledge when I did one particular run, but when I did the exact same thing on another one, he would. This can be chalked up to I was perhaps a few pixels off in position and didn't notice any visual differences. Again, this only happened a few times, and considered I was playing for about 22 hours in a row, I'm surprised it didn't happen more. This is just something that I found slightly aggravating. Super Mario 64 is being sold as the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection for a limited time, where you can get Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy all on the Nintendo Switch for roughly $60. The physical copy is being sold out pretty much everywhere that it was being sold, so beware of scalpers if you're trying to get the physical copy offline. Though Nintendo may put out additional copies at some point, I don't know if that's guaranteed. To make sure you can get a copy without paying a ton of extra money, you can get a digital copy from the Nintendo eShop. Now for my final rating of Super Mario 64. This was a childhood classic that has more than stood the test of time, and childhood me was so happy to see Yoshi on top of Peach's castle. With everything in mind, Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo Switch has absolutely earned a 9 out of 10. Thank you all so much for stopping by and sharing your valuable time here with me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Let me know what you thought about today's video in the comment section down below. I do apologize again for it coming up a bit late, but you know, the game was released on the day I normally release my videos, so I needed to push today's release back a little bit. Now, please feel free to like this video, share it out on various social medias if you felt so inclined, leave a comment down below, or if you wanted to join this small community of game reviewers and things like that, feel free to subscribe and ring the bell, and let me know what you thought about today's video in any other way that you felt necessary. But that is all for today. I hope that you're having a fantastic, amazing, wonderful day, because you are fantastic, amazing, wonderful people. I love each and every single one of you, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.